Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun little ramble. This could actually land me in quite a bit of trouble, but I really want to share this. So, as you can see from the title, I'm gonna talk about. This is really kind of topical here because I'm gonna talk about racism and my experiences with it in Finland. It's Since I have actually had first-hand experience, I want to share my experiences, and Finland is in quite a unique position. And I know there's a lot of other YouTubers and all. There's all sorts of YouTubers who can actually tell you about racism just in general and the immigration situation and all that. But since I've worked with firsthand with that, and Finland is quite a unique position, both culturally and well, let's just say that politically as well. I just want to share this rather unique experience here. So let's get a little background here first. Finland is. This is just. I love my country, I honestly do, and I wouldn't really not love. I really wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But our culture has problems, and our culture has inherent sexism in it, and it has inherent racism, and I mean real racism, really butt tons of it. However, that is mostly with the older generation, with the war veterans and such. They are really quite racist, but we do have some more real racist issues with. I mean, you can't really call it a racist issue, since we do just joke around by calling, well, basically insulting every other nation in the Nordic countries. Although I suppose that mostly focuses on Sweden, and I think there's a very good reason for that, because we were under Sweden's rule, and we have prejudice against them quite naturally, as well as against Russia. But those are both kind of justifiable, but a lot of people go over the board with that. In my personal experience, even though we do make a lot of jokes about both of those countries and their people, I actually, since my coworker actually was Russian, or was born Russian, it's really quite kind of hard to say anything actually bad about any Russian people. I actually have had really just good experiences with every race of people. I personally have had worst experience with Finnish people, because we do have very inherent prejudice, racism, and judgment against basically everyone who is different. Oh gosh, 3 minutes and I haven't even gotten the basic issue here. I suppose I should allow a bit more about my own background with racism as well, because I was born in a rather fortunate position, since my parents basically. We did have one. In my class, we did have one person who was Turkish, or rather had Turkish parents, but he was completely native to Finland, so man, I miss that guy. He was really fun, but I haven't really seen him in a few years. But we never really thought about him as any different race, because why would we? Honestly, why would we have done that? Because he's just a man such as anyone else. We were never really thought about races just in general. Like, I don't think even in school we ever talked about it, except maybe in like junior high or something. And so I would actually say that I was kind of raised up as colorblind, but I would just say that I was raised up as a decent human being. Now, obviously, there were people who were, shall we say, less fortunate than that, and let's just call them less mentally capable. I suppose that's fair enough of an insult. Who were a bit more unfair towards this guy, but whatever. They were unfair towards everyone, so it can't really specifically call that racism. But that's just about all the background you need. There's a lot of ongoing jokes in Finland about how we are basically just Europe's or the EU's dumping nation. Basically, they just send all of the crap over here, and you can kind of understand that when you look at the situation and the just general media. I would actually rather not believe that, considering that I've not personally had all that many bad experiences with anyone of different nation, not even with these immigrants. But I would be lying if I would say that they haven't caused any problems. Now, I'm not gonna go into a lot of details about the whole immigration situation and whether they are good or bad for the economy, because I am honestly not certain about that, but I'll just talk about the experiences I've had. So, first off, have I actually experienced any racism, or witnessed any racist acts towards them? Well, of course I have. I was working as a night guard, so I actually had to turn away a few neo-Nazis there, and that is actually terrifying. It is horrifying that they still exist. We have a movement called Soldiers of Odin here, and they are absolutely terrifying. It's horrifying that such a movement has gained mainstream popularity in Finland, because they are basically a terrorist organization. Not specifically, and they are not as violent as, shall we say, Black Lives Matter or anything like that, but they are still, I mean, they go around beating other people who have even slightly different, features than them. Anyone who is basically not fully mongoloid, they beat up, and that is kind of horrifying. I have, I do have friends who are actually, or associates I suppose I should call them, who are not native to Finland, and they have actually witnessed, or they have been under racial attacks, and that has been just both saddening and horrifying, and I'm glad that people are talking about it. However, we need to get into actually bad stuff, which makes this all complicated, because if it was so simple that we had just, immigrants come into the nation and they were all just being racially targeted with no good reason, it would be a clear situation of just racial tensions and one side being in the wrong. However, with my time working with the immigrants, I have actually had less than pleasant experiences with them, shall we say, quite often actually. Let's start with the night guard duty, because that has been quite bad. These people don't really respect the country. They don't respect rules. They don't respect education, and they really don't respect people. And that is unfortunate, because, of course, I'm not talking about majority here, because, like I said, majority of the experiences I've had, or most of the experiences, or almost all actually, have been positive. And, I would say that there's a very, very, very annoyingly vocal minority in the group who are less civilized, and they cause problems for everyone. But as it happens, the vocal minority is unfortunately rather large, and they cause problems far too often. Well, as I said, they don't respect basically anything about the culture, and very few actually, or there's a lot of the immigrants who I worked with who don't actually even understand why they should study, why they should try to get along, and why they even should respect other people, not to mention Finns. I mean, sure, some Finns don't deserve respect, but I would say that all humans do deserve respect. But a lot of them they were very, very crude, crass, impolite, just not deserving, of basically being in here. And that is unfortunate to say, because I would really not rather send them away, but a lot of them are economic immigrants. They come here looking for jobs, which is quite annoying, considering that they just get them because of experience, and students don't get any jobs, but that's besides the point. It's not a good situation in any way. Like, there's no good way here. Like, a lot of the immigrants also are just flat out criminals, and that is bad. Even though Finland's immigrants have been far less aggressive than in the Central Europe area, in Germany and Britain and France, they still have been quite troublesome at points. It is unfortunate that is the fact. That is the reason why it is hard to pinpoint the racist Finns as the only wrong side here, because they are not. And when I'm talking about criminals, I'm talking about I'm not exactly sure about murder, but let's just say that when I was working as a night shift, I actually had to communicate with police quite often, and let's just say we had to impose curfew on more than few occasions. And when I mean curfew, they were not supposed to leave their dorm just because, well, some of them had committed actual crimes, and they were rather severe crimes as well. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but let's just say that the police were patrolling that area regularly, not only for their protection, but also so that they would not run away. And that is, Jesus Christ, that's unimaginably dumb that we have like it's a not favorable position, because if the police do actually touch them in any way, even if they just need to talk to them, they are often accused of racism because, hey, liberal, regressive left and all that fun stuff. Jeez, I'm not gonna go too much into detail about that, but that's basically my experience with racism. However, I don't want to end this on a sour note, so let me get a lot of actually good feelings here in the end. It's a complicated situation, and I don't think there's any easy way to fix this. But majority of my experiences with them have been very positive. A lot of them are actually really smart, really bright, really friendly, really open, and you know, if nothing else, they do bring a very different lifestyle into Finland, and they are actually really, really bright people. And I mean bright as in smiling and laughing and having fun and making jokes all the time and just kidding around. It's like, compared to Finns, they are much more openly happy and much more openly bright, and just they are very warm, welcoming people, and by God, the good examples of them, their brightest, friendliest people are really good people. Like, they are, I'm not gonna just gonna frame all of them as bad people, because holy hell, most of them are good people. It's just there's far too many people who are not, who are frankly uncivilized. But a lot of them are fun. Oh god. There's still a lot of immigrants even in this city that I live in right now, so I welcome all of the trouble. God. Okay. But at least now I've gotten this off my chest. If you have any questions about, like, if I didn't go into too much detail, I mean, I hope I did go into enough detail, but feel free to ask questions, of course. Well, That's that. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this at the very least shed a bit more light into the situation in Finland. And from a personal experience, I think it should have a bit more power. Maybe? I don't know. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day. Stay awesome. Gamma out.